I just quickly want to go to facebook.com/Joy News on TV, our own Afrobarmeter, if you like. So this morning, Jennifer Jane put this up on Facebook. I'll show it to you in a little bit. If we measure up like this picture, how can we do better? That's the question that she put up there on our Facebook page. And that's it, the picture. And it's generating a lot of comment. I see a lot of you are liking this one. And Joe Mexis is on. Roland Abdullah Idrisu, Pasikoni D Star. You think that this is perfect? We say thank you. Emmanuel Imbebi, all of you are on Roland. Amuzu Oscar Solo, you make a very important contribution. And then Okra Francis says, nice combination, make it happen. But some of you also making very good suggestions there. We take it in go strides, and then we will work on the things that you need us to work on. But it's good to know that a lot of you are watching, and this is your breakfast really every weekday morning. We really appreciate it. Lots of your messages coming through, even on other subjects. But let's quickly get down to what's making my banner today. And it's not surprising, is it, that we're talking Afrobarometer, because more Ghanaians trust opposition political parties than they trust President John Mahama, according to the latest Afrobarometer survey published by the Center for Democratic Development, the CDD, that came out yesterday. Whereas 45% of Ghanaians say they trust opposition political parties, only 40% said they trust President Mahama. In fact, the president's trust rating has dropped significantly since he was elected in 2012 by as much as 16%. According also to the survey, 65% of Ghanaians trust the Ghana Armed Forces far more than the president's. And the president's party, the NDC, is also one of the least trusted institutions in the country. Only 36% trust the governing party. The survey sampled opinions of 2,400 respondents between May and June 2014 in all the 10 regions of the country, and the respondents' level of confidence were measured by asking how they trust these institutions. Trust a lot or somewhat, and trust a little or not at all. So with me to get an opinion on this particular survey this morning is Linda Ofori-Kwafo, who's a Deputy Executive Secretary of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. I want to say good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning, but I no more work with Ghana Integrity Initiative. I work with the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. Yeah.
Thank you for the correction. Okay. So what do you make of this survey, even on the surface?
The survey is actually a wake-up call to Ghanaians and to all stakeholders who have roles to play in the fight against corruption and in the running of the economy or the country in general. It is a survey that is saying that people have lost confidence in democratic institutions like the police, like parliamentarians, like the office of the president, and all the tax officials and all that. A survey that says that we are trusting more. We trust the military more than we trust other institutions. Survey that says that perceptions of corruptions is on the increase. And finally, a survey that is saying that citizens can do or contribute to their quota in the fight against corruption. It's a very important findings that we don't have to belittle, but take seriously and see what we can do in order to minimize corruption and also build people's trust in democratic institutions in this country.
You know, it's different if we're just talking about it, and it's different now that it's been put together and it's in the form of a survey, which is you know, quite different. But what does it mean? What does it tell about our country?
It tells us that the people that are part, or the citizens of this country, can no more be taken for granted. The issues that happen or the perceptions are actually what they are experiencing, what they observe, what they hear. Because looking at the period that this survey was conducted, a lot of issues actually were happening. The contest, CDD presented a contest yesterday, a period that we were talking about the GDs, the SUBEs, the isophotones, and all those things. All these things informs people's perception. A period that people, when they have engagement with public institutions like the health service, education, whatever they do, they are actually becoming more aware of the nature and kind of corruption in the system. And so they are sort of frustrated. And now a survey has been able to help them put together their thoughts, and it's being presented to the government. And I think it tells a lot that we are not doing well. And if we don't take care, people at a point will be able to take the law into their own hands, because they said that they are willing and they are ready to fight corruption themselves, and they believe they can do it.
Yeah, but you see, it doesn't ask the question of why. So how can government appreciate it?
Every survey has its own limits. No survey will be able to cover everything. It's an opinion survey. The more you go into details of asking every Ghanaian to explain why, the why, because whatever is informing them to make that straightforward statement, I don't trust the president, I don't trust the police, I don't trust this. It's actually based on what I said, their experiences in dealing with such institutions. It will be very difficult to capture the whys and put every person's, all the 2,400 Ghanaians' whys in a report. So what we do is that it's an opinion survey. If there is any component of the survey that government wants to do further interrogation to understand why people said that, a focus group discussion can be organized around the subject. We can do more to know why people said that, but it's very difficult in an opinion survey to capture the whys of every single question. Yeah.
Did we see this coming though? Because you know, we've been talking, a lot of people have been talking. Open the phone lines and a lot of people will share and pour out their frustrations. People have opinions on almost everything. What are we talking now? Is that the difference?
We are talking now because we have the opportunity now to talk. We are talking now because we understand that corruption impacts negatively on us. And I saw it coming. The CDD Afrobarmeter survey findings actually corroborate what the Global Corruption Barometer said in 2013. I think today we are going to launch the Corruption Perception Index. I don't know the details. GI will be doing that today. And if they do, I'm sure it's one way or the other, it's likely to corroborate the same findings. The stories or the issues are not new. Yesterday I was at a discussant at the launch, and I said that when it comes to the issues bordering on corruption and all those things, they are not very new for me, and I think we were expecting it. We're not expecting anything different. But it's only the issue on trust and confidence and the trust in the military that came as a little bit of a surprise to me, because then why will people be trusting the military more than the democratic institutions after we have moved away from military regimes and now we are trying to build on a democracy? If the very pillars are not trusted, then I think it's a threat to our democracy.
But you see, we've always respected the military.
Yep.
And even trust them. It's a good thing, isn't it?
It is. Yesterday I made a comment somewhere that the Bible even says you should go to the ant and learn from its ways. If you go to the ants and you learn from if you go to the military and learn from their ways, I'm sure the public institutions can improve discipline, punctuality, all those things we can find in the military. But then we will be advised also not to learn from their excesses, because that will not be good for our democracy. And yesterday it also came out that CDD had done an earlier survey which actually suggested that people still believe democracy is the kind of governance that we need, the imperfections notwithstanding. But the military is something I'm sure they admire.
Are we perhaps not calling for a fusion? Maybe we want the two at the same time somehow.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
The survey didn't go further to find out why. And that's what I said we can organize further discussions on. But I'm not sure. They were very clear when the question came up. People have said that they still believe in democracy. But it just, maybe, I don't know.
Because I'm just thinking that perhaps we still believe in democracy. We like the freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, because we talk a lot, we want to still continue to do all those things. But we want a different kind of leadership.
This subject of leadership is a very big issue. Leadership is everything. Leadership is bigger than the presidency or than the government, but he is the leader. And for me, I was not one of the respondents of the survey. And whatever people want in a leader that they might not be finding in the current leadership should be of interest to all the institutions who the people say they don't trust. So then you can actually do further studies on that. It's for the government to go into this matter further to find out why people are saying this.
Yeah.
In other jurisdiction, this was going to affect elections big time. But we know our type of politics that we run here, where people still vote for people not based on issues, but rather based on tribalism, based on whatever.
But we don't vote for the police, do we?
We don't.
Yeah, I mean,
but
if we say they are the most corrupt, we don't have any choice. It's still the same police force.
Yeah, that one has not changed. That one is going to be, it's likely to be leading for a very long time, because the police have to do more work to actually whip up public interest, trust and confidence in them.
Isn't it true, though, that we help corrupt some police officers?
Everybody who is accusing the police of being corrupt is likely to have influence or has the possibility of engaging with the police one time or the other. Because when the question, I think the survey yesterday findings show that the number of people who agree to the fact that corruption is on the increase did not agree to the fact that they are the ones bribing the police then. So then who then is influencing or bribing the police?
Okay.
That is how come we always have perceptions of corruption. People are not ready to actually say that I pay this amount of money. They are ready to tell us what they think others are doing, but not what they themselves are doing. So everybody, most Ghanaians are corrupt.
Well, surprisingly, this morning, we played back conversations that some of my colleagues had with taxi drivers, with ordinary persons, and they actually confessed. Somebody, a driver saying that, oh, I put money in a Bible. Sometimes they take it and then they return the Bible, on television. But it looks like money is at the center of this whole conversation or analysis, or how we see the politician or the security agencies. The Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, have you always thought this way? Is this surprising to you?
It's not surprising. It's quite interesting and amazing at the level. I'm amazed at the level of intelligence, if I may use that word, being displayed by the people that your reporter interviewed. We always think that it's only people who are very highly educated, they understand the issues of corruption and how it affects us and what are the instruments used in engaging corruption. But the people, ordinary people like you and I, like the people on the street that they interviewed, actually understand the issues. And I'm happy because then people are becoming more conscious, aware, and we are hoping that they will actually translate these understandings when it comes to issues of like voting and all those things. Because I keep on, everywhere I get opportunity, to tell people to vote against politicians that show impunity when it comes to corruption. You have to vote against. You have to actually vote out the corrupt. That is the only way we can move forward.
But you see, when politicians are in opposition, they appear different.
Yes.
So if you say you're voting out someone and voting in another person, you might be bringing back the same person that you voted out.
There are different mechanisms and methods used in fighting corruption. It's just one of the ways. If you vote them out and also strengthen the systems we have in place and also enforce the legislation, we'll be closing all the loopholes. It's just an angle of years.
You see, what is worrying there, and I think a good number of people will also feel this way, it's as if we don't have laws. And just to build up on what the Finder reported today, something that the Anti-Corruption Coalition said. And this story in the Finder says, where's our money? And where's our money is essentially asking for the judgment debts monies. We have issues like that. And we don't even know what is happening. You know, like a law court has ruled, a judge has made a judgment, and we're supposed to be following up and retrieving, and nobody seems to be doing anything. So, you know, like, what is working? And I feel people's frustrations, because sometimes I get frustrated myself. So if people don't trust the institutions, it shouldn't be surprising. But who do we trust? Why wouldn't we put our trust in the military then?
It's when you say nobody is working, I don't want to totally agree to that. Especially when the Minister for Justice herself has assured Parliament earlier this year that her organization is taking steps, her office.
This is the end of the year, or this is December?
Yes, that is how come somebody is asking the question now. Because there should be people who have the opportunity to be able to demand for certain things to be done. We don't have the right information legislation. Government is not forthcoming with information concerning recovering the wrongfully paid judgment debts. So an organization like the GACC, where I work, thought it wise that it's in December, a period where the whole world is doing an analysis of its efforts in fighting corruption. Ghana has wrongfully paid monies to individuals and organizations. A court has ordered, collect the money. We are in December. Give us a status report. It's as simple as that. Somebody will say that we don't have the right information, but Article 21, Section 1F of the Constitution give us the opportunity to demand for such kind of information. That is what we are doing. And we are just hoping that the government and the AG will take advantage, if even it's about we have started a process, we have challenges, we are still on it, it's enough for us.
Update us.
Update us.
Yeah.
And that is what I think government is not doing very well. It's very frustrating. Government is not forthcoming with information.
Yeah.
And they are forthcoming with every other thing about challenging the opposition, about what has been done in terms of road construction and schools built under trees or on trees, whatever it is. But when it comes to very important issues like assets or wrongfully recovering monies, that even the United Nations Convention Against Corruption actually expects every government which is committed to fighting corruption to do. They are not doing that.
Let me right now engage Dr. Vladimir Nchinasu, who is a senior research fellow at the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy. Dr. Vlad, good morning to you, if you can hear me. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Mama V, and good morning to your cherished listeners.
And I hope that you're well, really.
I am very well and kicking here.
We thank God. Have you heard or seen this latest Afrobarmeter report that says that as Ghanaians, we're turning to the military more? We're trusting them more than the government.
Well, I've heard, I must confess, I haven't read the report, but Afrobarometer is a very respected kind of research findings. We've all been always, quoting them and things like that. But it is the interpretation. Yesterday, many more people were telling me or asking me whether they were not asking kind of military takeover, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that is the case. I've heard about the report. The report is only telling us exactly what is the perception that in times of civilian administration, there is so much to worry about, but in times of military rule, we have that precision, we have that fear of doing the wrong and things like that. That's all it's telling us. It's not asking the military to take over.
So it hasn't got any security implications?
I do not think so. For researchers, we are interested in what is and what ought to be. What is on the ground is what they have given us. They have variables to arrive at a certain conclusion. And in choosing your variables, you are noting what your hypothesis is saying, what you think you want to achieve. And so this is purely a research. I haven't read it, as I said, I'll repeat that. But I think it's only telling us about what people think about the system of governance that we have now.
But we're also interested in what does the what is mean in terms of if just on the surface we say we trust the military more because it doesn't go into the why.
That's
just
right.
That. What does it say to us? Is it the fact that they are so disciplined that we kind of trust them more, in your view?
It is not necessarily the discipline. It is more of the perception that during military rule, things go on very well. And the civilian administration will hide behind the facet of democracy, of doing things slowly, and if you don't want it, go to court and that kind of thing. This one is telling us that things go wrong, more wrong. Well, it doesn't mean the military rule is all sacrosanct. I mean, things go more wrong when we are under civilian administration and things go slower. Corruption is rife. And to tackle that, you need to go through the so-called democratic processes. But with the military, precision and non-obeisance to democratic things, and we get the results. That's all it takes.
But I guess for those who fought that military system, and today we're enjoying democracy, this will be very painful to them to think that we're yearning for what was before that was fought against.
It's very true. I am at pain also. It's so painful that democracy is so beautiful, but we try to misapply its tenets. For example, how independent are the state institutions? Every state institution is birthed under the hypnosis of the government in power, whether the military or the police or the courts or everything. It's like everybody looks up to the government. But that is not what democracy means. Tell me in earnest what parliament is now. A bunch of representatives who represent nothing but do the bidding of government, because rules and laws and everything come from the government. The oversight role of the parliament is not seen because of politicization of governance. You see, these are the things that I think Afrobarmeter is drawing attention to. And for me, I think what we must do with this report is to see how best we can crystallize our democracy through the tightening of the knot. For example, how free are our institutions. Some of us have always been talking about how we shouldn't make the office of the military and the police and other agencies coterminous with governments in power. I don't see why IGPs change when governments change. I don't see why CDS, the Chief of Defense Staff, must change when governments change. I don't see why even Parliament term of office must be coterminous with the presidential district. Democracy is like that when you see something hiccuping, there is a way to change in order to make the democracy thrive. But we don't do that. Every government is trying to, take democracy under its ambit, and that is why it is hiccuping very badly. And that's all the Afrobarmeter is talking about.
Okay, so finally, will things get better? Would we change our minds?
Things can get only better if governments really go down to democracy. You see, democracy is said that governments rather fear the people. In our current dispensation, the people fear the government. That we need to change. We need to change that thing where government has everything. They say the castle or whatever it is, the Flagstaff has overspent his budget by 300%. How can this be under democracy? Because if they give them their budget, before you get another, you got to go back to Parliament. There are institutions who will tell you, no, we can't give you the money. But they were able to spend that. All the MDDA, MMDA overspent their money. Where is it? You see, this is the thing. We need to change that. If we don't change that, we can't get anywhere. And maybe those who are calling for the military may be right or justified. But I don't think the military does a better. They use unorthodox methods to achieve the ends,
Okay. All right, Dr. Vlad, we'll have to leave it here, but thank you really for your time. Dr. Vladimir Enchi Danso is an associate director, a highly experienced researcher and consultant. His views on this particular subject. So maybe I can ask you the same thing I asked him towards the end there. Where do we go from here?
We have to strengthen our institutions and build public confidence in them.
How do we?
They have to do it themselves.
It's the same You heard what people said. They don't trust the politicians. As for the politicians, they don't trust them at all.
Yeah, because they are full of promises they can't actually fulfill. And that's going into elections. Anytime I hear politicians talk on election platforms, I go like, they are not serious. Seriously. The things they say are things they can't fulfill. That's how come people always follow them to Parliament House to demand the things they've said they can't actually do. And if they are continuing going that way, they will always have to corrupt the system in order to get resources to fulfill promises that is actually beyond their control. I think institutions will have to wake up. The police service started something about don't pay the bribe, don't bribe the police person or something. That campaign, I'm sure, did not reflect in the survey. And so they should go re-strategize and see how that campaign, I won't bribe the police officer, the T-shirts and the bangles that they displayed. Some people are thinking it was just some...
It hasn't worked?
No, I'm not sure if that's worked.
Because I thought, I've been asking for one.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling if it's on my cab, then maybe the policeman who stopped me would think that I'm a policeman's wife or something. Yeah. And they would deter the person from...
And you're not getting one. No. Maybe I'm sure they have to re-strategize because they have to find ways and means to build public trust themselves. They have to earn the respect. They have to stop the bribes. And
but what is wrong? What is the problem with them? Because we know that their salaries were not good at all some time back. But this single spine actually raised them, and they're on the same level with a lot of us, really. So we're all earning the same. Why do some of them want to ask us?
Because they have the opportunities that we don't have. We don't have the opportunities to be on the road to check anybody's vehicle or license. They have those opportunities. So unless we put in mechanisms to stop them from taking those bribes, unless the citizens help. I love the video we saw the other time when somebody was able to capture a police officer taking coins and 1 cedis. So embarrassing. And I want to know, for instance, if he was actually interdicted, what is the state of the case now? These are the kind of things that build people's confidence. They never get back to tell us anything. All we know, for some people go like, oh, they have reinstated him or something. We want to know what are the results of such actions. And if you do this 1, 2, 3 times, people's confidence and trust in you will come back. In Afrobarmeter, people were saying that they don't trust to even go to them to report cases because they are not safe. They feel they are not safe. If they go the next time, they will be exposed. And for that matter, I will not even go. I will not report anything. But then if every institution take advantage of the findings of this survey, do some in-house house cleaning and contribute their quota, or actually enforce or do their work as expected of them, I'm sure we'll be making progress towards the fight against corruption.
Okay, let me read some of your comments on Facebook. Here's Kwabena. Barry was saying even a little kid can judge this barometer index stuff, looking at things that looking at things that exactly one would say. I guess this doesn't need an Afrobarometer what to tell Ghanaians. Okay, so more like we know our problems already. I mean, we know what's happening. We don't need an Afrobarometer to tell us. Okay, let's see what Raphael is saying. I'm not surprised that people rather have faith in the army than other state institutions. They act professional and are disciplined. Abdullah Idrisu says corruption has taken all our minds and blood. It's almost part of us because it's all over, and poverty isn't helping. Okay, Parquet says under NDC it looks as if the nation is under a curse. Abdul Aziz says especially GES, and I don't know in what context that one is. Akparibo Philip says no institution can overtake the police service in terms of corruption. They keep collecting the 1 cedi from drivers. In Shraba Bruce, Nanaya says, Massa, they have increased the 2 cedis above. Oh my God. Manfred and Sanyami says, a corrupt system yields a corrupt people. Let's tackle it from the grassroots and stop this pretentious blame game. But Zomdunia says, police most corrupt. Who makes them corrupt? Receiving and giving are all wrong. God help us. Prince Living Boko. Thank you, Prince. You're always following us. We appreciate it. But these are more views of what we've heard. This is not surprising. But if we the citizens, this is what we are thinking, and you've mentioned a couple of things that the police, for instance, must work on to get our trust back. Should we be thinking differently even whilst the institutions work on themselves?
Yes, we should be. There is an opportunity for citizens to actually contribute to the fight against corruption. We have a new kid on the block I call the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, which outlines responsibilities for all stakeholders. Citizens have a simple role to play. Just say no to corruption. Refuse to give a bribe. Refuse to take monies from people that corrupt you to vote for them. Institutions have a role to play. NACAP is going to be outdoored officially, and the modalities for implementation is going to be made known come Monday next week, and everybody's role will be outlined. What we need is resources to be able to implement the action plan of NACAP, and we are telling government, this is what Afrobarometer is saying that citizens are telling you. Invest, put money in this plan. Help us implement the plan, and we are sure in 5 years, 10 years to come, Ghana will make progress. People are already criticizing the plan. I don't, because I know it is a good plan, and and it's actually a bipartisan. It's not made by one political party. So everybody has confidence. You have confidence in the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan. When it's implemented, I'm sure we'll be making some good progress so far as the fight against corruption is concerned.
What should government be doing, really? Should they be defending this report?
They shouldn't be defending. As somebody said, we don't need Afrobarmeter to tell us the things happening. There are so many allegations, so many, some of them have gone beyond allegations, the National Service saga, a whole lot of them. I don't even have the
the energy to start naming them one by one.
Government should tell us what effort they are putting in place. And that's, I think, one of the, during the Occupy Ghana, or I forgot which of them, one of the pastors told the president it's about government should do some sort of in-house cleaning themselves. Afrobarmeter is saying that the presidency is not trusted, the parliament is not trusted, government, all stakeholders. I also believe the state institutions have to show a lot more political commitment to doing their work. I have a problem with the asset declaration, for instance, legislation, for instance, because I believe the Auditor General is not doing much and it's not helping matters. So everybody should do their work well.
Yeah. All right. And I want to say thank you really for your time this morning as my special guest on my banner. Thank you.
And
thank you very much. Okay, so my guest Linda Oforikwa for the helping us digest this whole Afrobarmeter. And I know that it's going to still make headlines till the end of the week, but like I say all the time, let's start talking. Let's talk. It helps. It helps. It's better than keeping everything inside you and marching to, you know, like say a public institution and going to beat the people up. No, let's talk. That's the best way. This is the inspiration that Jennifer Jane put on Facebook, and I want to end with it. Be so busy improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. How about that for a day like this? That's it for the AM show. My name is Mama Viewuswabwaji, and I was here with Roland Walker. We are back, God willing, tomorrow. But stay with the Joy News channel. News Desk will be up at 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.